It's Tommy Lloyd's Arizona Wildcats. It's Johnny Dawkins' UCF Golden Knights. It's the damn space race, and we're previewing it coming up right now on the AZ Wildcats podcast. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome on into the AZ Wildcats podcast, coming to you live from Studio K, presented by our fine friends over at Circle K. It's the AZ Wildcats podcast. I am Damon Fairall. He is Kevin Thomas. And we are coming to you live from PHNX HQ3 here in downtown Phoenix. Kevin, we got ourselves another basketball game on the horizon. Arizona, number one team in the country, taking on UCF, a very underrated, under the radar squad coming into this season, but they've performed well to start the year. We're going to break it all down. We're going to preview it, give you strengths and weaknesses on the Knights side of things. The Knights.
The color redacted Knights.
Kevin and I, a little bit of a debate off air right as we went into the start of this show. I also thought it was the Golden Knights going into the show. Looked it up real quick about 5 minutes beforehand. Turns out UCF's just the Knights. Who knew?
I guess not me. I was going to say, were they ever the UCF Golden Knights? Yes, they were.
They were.
The team rebranded in 2007 in its preparation to move to its new on-campus football stadium. So I guess this is more of a football thing than it ever was a basketball thing. But they did used to be the Golden Knights when I was about 6 years old. So
that's what you remember.
Yeah, I guess so. That brand carries a lot of weight, man. It's like the teal from the Charlotte Hornets in the 90s. It's carrying through the generations, man. But yeah, the Knights of UCF and Johnny Dawkins versus the Arizona Wildcats. As you said, this is kind of an underrated matchup. I feel like people like Big 12 fans, you, me, Arizona Wildcat fans in general, are not really underrating what this matchup could mean for Arizona, what this matchup could mean for UCF. But I do think that if you're like a national fan looking at this game, you're like, oh, UCF's scrappy team. Arizona's number one. I want to watch because Arizona's number one. But you should want to watch because this is going to be a great basketball game, at least in my opinion. I expect it to be. We're going to preview that one as well in this episode. We have a mystery Jed Fish hater coming on at the tail end of the episode to give Jed Fish a piece of his mind. But starting on the football side of things, Damon, we do have some more good news. Wee woo, more good news. Arizona is addicted. They have a problem. They have an affliction to signing defensive backs. They just can't be stopped. Two more enter Arizona over the last 24 hours, Damon. It's a good time to be a football fan in Arizona, I feel like, at least.
Yeah, I mean,
in Tucson. Maybe not all the way in Arizona, because there's a lot of bad vibes going on outside of Tucson football-wise. But
yeah, the Cardinals are certainly a disaster. But ASU fans will tell you that they have a dynasty in the works here when it comes to the Big 12. Cutter Boley is a Heisman candidate going into next season. But yeah, Arizona brings in two more transfers, I believe, since we last talked. Dalen Austin and Zuri Watson out of Howard. Dalen Austin is out of Oregon. Big time transfer, Kevin. I feel like this is one of those ones where you would quote tweet it and say #moved.
In fact, I did.
In fact, he did. And for good reason. Dalen Austin has appeared in 30 games for Oregon over the last 3 seasons. His freshman season, he played in 4 games to avoid that red shirt or losing that red shirt, if you will. Last 2 seasons, he's played in 14 and 13 games respectively. So he has been a big piece of this Oregon team. Maybe not a big piece. Maybe that's a little bit of a stretch. But he has been a piece on this Oregon team that has made it into the postseason the last 2 years. He has gotten playing time. He got an interception against Wisconsin this year in a game that finished up 21-7. So it was not like a blowout where he's just getting garbage time minutes. Like, the Oregon defense was the reason that team won that football game, and he made a big time play in that game. I think, Damon Austin is a guy who figures to step in, be sharpied into the starting lineup, especially with all of the moving parts you have in the DB room. He's played a little bit more nickel corner and safety over his career. I expect him to kind of be that slot cornerback guy, maybe take that Traden Stukes role potentially for this Arizona football team. But yeah, I think that Damon Austin's a big-time transfer, Kevin.
I think so too. And you mentioned the amount, or we mentioned the amount of depth that Arizona has brought into the DB room this offseason. They have now signed 8 corners this class. That is a ton of DB talent. And also, this is per Justin Spears' math.
8 defensive backs, technically, correct?
Yes.
Not corners.
Yes, 8 defensive backs. Yes, good catch there. 7 of the DBs per Justin Spears added in the portal are bringing 6,499 defensive snaps of experience to the secondary. Now, I know we made a lot of the way in which the terrific trio of Genesis Smith, Traden Stukes, and Dalton Johnson departed, but what that act cannot erase is the unbelievable number of snaps they played for this university prior to that night, right? And Justin Spears pointed that out in the aftermath of it all. I forget the exact number, but it was 7,300, 7,500, 6,000 something. It was an unbelievable amount of snaps. And, mileage may vary on the strength of schedule for all these different snaps that I'm about to compare here, but you lose about 7,000 snaps. It's clear that the goal was to not come in next year without experience. You add about 6,500 defensive snaps of experience to this defensive backcourt, and I think that is huge. Because one thing you saw in the Holiday Bowl is that it took some of these younger corners about a half of football, which is not a long period of time at all, but it did take them some time to work into this game. And what that showed Arizona fans is that, okay, there's talent there, but maybe not quite game-ready Big 12 impact DB level talent right now today. Maybe halfway through next year you get there. Maybe the year after that you get there. But I think it showed the coaches we need experience. We need some guys that can help bring up these young guys in this room. And I think you're seeing that with a guy like Dalen Austin or Zuri Watson, who Zuri Watson has 3 years of experience or eligibility left, right? So you're adding a ton of experience and also adding a ton of control and flexibility in the upcoming years, which is something I really appreciate about the way that the staff is attacking the replenishing of the defensive back room.
Let me ask you a question, though, Kevin, because you mentioned these snaps, and I do think that bears noting, especially when you lose so much experience, you want to kind of harbor experience as well. But out of all of the defensive backs that Arizona has added, Dalen Austin is the lowest number of snaps played out of that list. So does that, for me, though, Dalen Austin is, one of the bells of the ball. Outside of a Malcolm Hartzog, I think he's probably the number one guy that in terms of, I guess, just value that I would place on them from an outside perspective going into this next season. So I guess my question would be, does the snaps matter or does the profile of the prospect matter more? Because I think at Arizona, I would choose the undervalued guy who was a 4-star, maybe even a 5-star, but probably more likely a 4-star at a bigger school than Arizona, who was just kind of behind some better players on the depth chart, guys who are going to be in the NFL on the depth chart, and take a swing on a guy like that, because I feel like the upside is a bit higher than, and not to disparage him, than a guy like Ali Mollett, who has played 3 seasons at UConn and played a whole lot. But it feels like maybe the floor is higher for a guy like that, but the ceiling isn't necessarily as high.
I do like that little bit of nuance you add there, Damon. I think what I don't know if it changes my opinion on a guy like Dalen Austin, that he hasn't played a ton of snaps or whatnot, but I think that the fact that you're at least replenishing the raw game experience in that room is what's important of the snaps conversation for me. I don't think I look at a player who's played a ton of snaps and think that they're better or worse than a player who has played less snaps and might have a higher profile. I might go with that higher profile player because I think they might have more talent, right? But I do think you having a good mix of high profile, high talent guys with guys who have been in the trenches out there before, even if the guy who's been in the trenches is on the bench, right? Who's the guy with the high profile coming off talking to the guy with the experience who's going to tell him, man, you really should have broke there, or you really should have done this in that route to make sure that the result was what we wanted. And I think that that's important, because what you don't want to lose is, with the departure of Genesis and all those dudes, you don't want to lose both talent and leadership, right? You're losing leadership for sure, and you're losing talent for sure. You want to at least fully replenish one of the two categories, right? And if you're Arizona, it's a lot more likely that you are able to replenish the leadership and the character side of things respectfully than you are the talent side of things, because we're Arizona football. You can't just go out in the portal and get 3 all Big 12 defensive backs that have played in multiple bowl games and this and that at a high level. You just don't got the bag for it, because they're not looking for a program like Arizona. Those guys, if they're in the portal, they're looking for a program like LSU right now.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking for a program like Miami right now, right? And that's just where we're at. So I'm happy that the snaps are being replenished, because it means you have experience there, and that means the potential for leadership is there. And I love that you're mixing it in with guys like Dalen Austin, who clearly have a high level of talent to have played at Oregon football. So yeah, I think that's kind of my read on the mix between high snap counts and low snap counts all being in the same portal class.
No doubt about it. I think that the mix there is absolutely the ideal scenario to find, because like I said, I think it does raise your floor a little bit, just knowing that, hey, we have these guys who can play, right? Maybe they're not the absolute superstars that Arizona had in their DB room last season, but they can play, and you supplement that with maybe some of the more high profile players. But I do think a guy like Malcolm Hartzog is kind of the mixture of that both, where he is somewhat, the big time program transfer but he has a ton of experience to boot. And so that's why I think he's kind of the cream of the crop of that DB room that's got brought in. But Dalen Austin is right up there for me. And Dalen Austin is a guy that, according to Jason Shearer, Arizona beat out Ole Miss and Arkansas, among others, for his signature, for his commitment.
Take that, Crowley,
Geiska Crowley. I mean, taking L's to Arizona after leaving the Wildcats in the dust, but now it's all in good fun. But
we're joking.
I think that does just go to show, like, this was a pretty high profile guy that gets brought in. Maybe Arizona has a little bit more to promise in terms of like role. Like, hey, we know you're going to play when you come here, whereas those other schools are like, we know you're going to be in a competition for these spots. But that's also part of the recruiting as well, as selling a prospect on a place to go to. And Arizona does so with a guy like Dalen Austin. Now, there are some situations kind of extenuating around the Dalen Austin situation that we would be remiss if we didn't bring up and talk about, Kevin. Some pretty unfortunate stuff happened. You guys can, look into it further yourself, but essentially, Dalen Austin was involved in a hit and run situation at Oregon when he was, going to school there in Eugene, where he allegedly struck an individual. The individual allegedly had a hammer that was thrown at Dalen Austin's vehicle. Now, there's a lot of gray area in between there, a lot of messy parts that, I think that it's for people that have a pay grade much higher than me and Mr. Kevin Thomas. They do not pay us to solve crimes here on the AZ Wildcats podcast, but it's an unfortunate situation. It does lead to a little bit of question marks in regards to the Dalen Austin commitment and just being brought in. But according to Jason Shearer, his trial is not until 2027, and the school president and top administration of the university looked into the case and determined that he was okay to be playing in this past football season for Oregon. So this has been known. Oregon allowed him to play. They thought that they felt comfortable allowing him to play despite the circumstances. And so it seems as though he is going to be playing and suiting up for Arizona no matter what, and that his trial will be in the offseason after Arizona's football season next year.
Very skillfully broke down, Damon Dog. Wow. Well done.
That was Big J right there.
Yeah, he put on the boots. He hiked them up, and he tightened the tie, got the briefcase, came to work, ready to do some Big J. We didn't even need Justin Spears on the pod for the Big J today.
Listen, Kevin, I think I got all of the Damon Dog troll rage out of my system already on the PHNX D-back show. Unfortunately, if you guys are not big baseball fans, Kyle Tucker just decided to ruin the sport even further, and the Dodgers are signing yet another one of the top free agents for the third year running here in Major League Baseball. So much fun. We're all absolutely loving life. We all love the beautiful game. And I got out a lot of takes, a lot of anger, a lot of passion, maybe some tears were mixed in, Kevin.
Wow.
You'll just have to tune in for the PHNX D-backs podcast for that one. But I guess I'm just in professional mode now. Like it's just, I've lost the love for trolling after last night's events.
Yeah, it's valid to lose a little bit of love for the game when the Dodgers continue to ruin it. But as you so very eloquently laid out there. You do have a bit of baggage with the Dalen Austin situation, but it does not appear to be affecting his eligibility to play football, right? And just in the football vacuum, right? Life stuff aside, just the football vacuum from an Arizona football perspective, sometimes the same way JUCOs benefit from this, right? Like sometimes players at a higher level of football than where you are at fall to your level of football simply because they've made some mistakes along the way and they're trying to get back or to their initial goal of where they want it to be. And I think this might be a situation where Arizona benefits from some unfortunate life things going on, not only to Dalen Austin, but to that man as well. Whatever happened in that situation happened, and now he is at Arizona as kind of a result of it, right? I feel like maybe I'm wrong, speculation here, but I'm assuming he does not leave Oregon if none of this goes down. And maybe he does anyway. Maybe he enters the portal anyway, trying to get the bag and trying to get to his new spot or next spot or the next green grass, whatever. But yeah, either way, he is an Arizona Wildcat now, and I'm excited to watch him on the football field next year. Damon, do we have any other portal updates as of right now?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really go into the addition of one Zuri Watson who transfers in from Howard, played 2 seasons there, was a redshirt in his first year, played, I believe, 15 games this year for a team that is good for their conference. I will add, I think that they were in the championship game for their conference this year, which was played, I believe, at Miami Dolphins Stadium, where the national championship is going to be played at. So, I mean, this is a guy who brings in a little bit of experience in his own right. As you noted, he has 3 years of eligibility, and I think is a complete and total wild card when it comes to what he can be at Arizona, if he's just a depth piece, if he forces the issue and earns a little bit more playing time. But we are looking at almost a completely rebuilt defensive back unit here for Arizona, losing so many guys, basically keeping Javion Cole and essentially turning to either the younger players on the roster or transfers for these next additions. So yeah, Arizona football continues to add players, and yeah, it seems as though they are kind of rounding into maybe the end portion of this, big transfer influx, but could be a couple more transfers on the horizon too for the Wildcats. So we'll keep you updated with all of that. And yeah, that's your football update for the week or for the day here and on a football Friday, Kevin.
As you said, it seems like Team 123 is starting to kind of round into shape, Damon, and I'm happy to feel like we can start to think about next football season in a bit. You know what I mean? I know we have basketball all in front of us, but dare I say I'm excited for year 3 under Brent Brennan, dare I say. And I think that these portal additions are only going to increase the excitement for me going into next year. Maybe I'm not going to say increase the expectation, but increase the excitement. That is a very important distinction. Maintaining expectation, but enjoying it a little bit more. Very, very different. Damon and I are going to preview a very, very competitive matchup with UCF, and I have a surprise comparison that only the diehards have seen. Not even Damon has seen it yet. I will give that to him and a whole lot more to y'all on the other side of this break here on the AZ Wildcats podcast. Leave a like, drink your water, do not go anywhere. Damon, you smell that? You hear that? That's the smell of burning rubber. That's the sound of engines firing. And it's a race weekend like no other at Phoenix Raceway, because for the first time ever in the history of the sports, NASCAR and NTT IndyCar are racing at the same weekend. At the same damn weekend here in Phoenix Raceway. You can be a part of history and get a front row seat to it all. It's the kind of energy that you really have to feel to understand. Someone can't just tell you like me how good this race weekend is. You got to go experience it for yourself. And if you want the best access in all of motorsports, go inside the garage, walk the track, meet the drivers, and catch the pre-race concert. No sport brings the fans closer. I also wanted to let you know the camping options are available. So if you want to go all the way all in on an RV and camp all week long, you and your crew, you can do just that. The 2026 Spring NASCAR Weekend at Phoenix Raceway, making history. Secure your seats now at the link in our show notes below.
I want to talk to you guys about our friends over at Circle K. Circle K, of course, sponsoring the great Studio K here at PHNX Sports. We love our friends at Circle K, and we love that Inner Circle Rewards membership program, right? We love it for a multitude of reasons, Kevin. Number one, when you sign up, you get 25 cents off per gallon in your first 5 fill-ups. Number 2, every time that you fill up after that, you get 3 cents off per gallon at the tank. And number 3, when you become a premium member like me or like Kevin, you start to get 5 cents off per gallon at the tank every single time you fill up. And let me tell you, it sounds like a little bit of money, Kevin, but over the course of an entire year, with how many times that you fill up that gas tank, 5 cents off per gallon, 3 cents off per gallon, 25 cents off per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups, you name it, it's going to save you a lot of money. Not to mention, there are all types of inner circle fuel days going on all over the place. You got to be on the lookout for those. 40 cents off per gallon on those fuel days, and all types of Inner Circle Reward membership program offers on the drink and snack side of things as well. We love our friends at Circle K, always trying to keep us locked and loaded, keep us stocked, energized, ready to go, Kevin, and of course, fueling up that vehicle as well. Shout out to Circle K. Sign up for that brand new free Inner Circle Rewards membership program today by downloading the Circle K app. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit circlek.com for details.
Welcome on back to the AZ Wildcats podcast, where we are now talking Arizona versus UCF. And Damon, the Big 12 just continues to deliver us chef's kiss matchups, just absolute cinema in this year's conference schedule, because Arizona is on quite the streak right now. But it feels like every game on the Big 12 schedule that could be at risk. And I feel like that is something that, as Arizona keeps winning and we keep seeing tougher and tougher opponents come down this docket on us, I don't know. The season just gets better and better, in my opinion, right? The tension continues to build. Can Arizona stay undefeated? Does it even matter if they stay undefeated? Spoiler alert, no. But it's a whole hell of a lot of fun when they are undefeated. And UCF is certainly a team that could take that 0 from them. UCF, a team under Johnny Dawkins that has completely overperformed all expectations coming in the preseason. They have, as Damon pointed out to me pre-show, one of the lowest ratings in continuity, minutes continuity. They're 345th.
Kevin, it's not one of the lowest. It's the lowest it could possibly be. They are tied with essentially 20 other teams that revamped their entire roster at 345. They have a 0.0% roster retention from last year to this year.
It's unbelievable. Keyshawn Hall is absolutely going crazy for Auburn, and that would make, I feel like, most casual college basketball fans think, oh, well, UCF must be up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. They must have no idea how to score the ball without Keyshawn Hall. They just lost an all, I don't know what to call Keyshawn Hall.
Player. I mean,
yes,
he's averaging 21 points per game, 7 rebounds, 3 assists on 48% shooting. I mean, Keyshawn Hall is a really, really good college basketball player.
And you lose him, and you could argue that you got better. Now, I'm not saying this is a Ewing theory thing, but what I am saying is that the way in which UCF retooled and reimagined the roster in a year where Johnny Dawkins absolutely had to have it felt like, absolutely admirable. You bring in Riley Kugel, Jermichael Stillwell, Themis Folks, Devan Cambridge, Damon, familiar foe. This guy's still playing basketball.
It makes no sense.
We are almost a decade into Devan Cambridge's career, and I, for one, am tired of it. But yeah, he is on this team. You also have Pufa Wara Kolnukro, which I know that you and I have tried to tackle that name before on this podcast, but he is, again, an opponent, is Pufa Wara Kolnukro. I feel like when you slow it down, it's not that hard. But
you know what I miss, Kevin, after you just said that? The Hall of Names.
Yeah, the Hall of Names. We got to bring it back.
What happened to the Hall of Names?
I think the main hall went under maintenance, and then the contractors did a whole thing where you call them and they're like, oh, we're just ordering parts and you send another down deposit. And then they never renovated it. I'll get back on them, and we will get the Hall of Names renovated for 2025-26 because Pufa Barakol Nukro would definitely be in it. But of the players that actually play, because Pufa does not actually play very much. Yeah. Riley Kugel, right, is really the spear of this team right now. He is the head of the ship right now, averaging 14.8 points, 3.4 boards, 2.7 assists. But arguably the player I always come away most impressed with is one Themis Folks, who leads the team in assists with a whopping 7.3 assists per game, which is good for 6th in the country. And it's damn sure good for best on his own team is Folks' assist percent. So this is a very balanced team as well. 4 players scoring above 12 points a game on this roster. This is a very good team, Damon. And I think they're going to give Arizona their biggest challenge yet, even a bigger challenge than TCU did, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's very, very possible. When you look at Fulks, one thing that stands out to me, Kevin, is that he's shooting 50.6% from the field as a point guard. That's pretty remarkable. That's pretty impressive efficiency from a guy who's 6'2", 185 pounds, and who has been playing at lower levels of college basketball. He starts his career off at South Carolina State. He goes on to the University of Louisiana, and then he plays at Milwaukee last year, takes the step up in competition, and his efficiency improves through the roof. He's shooting 50% from three right now. Pretty impressive stats from the UCF point guard, but you mentioned a guy like Riley Kugel. He played multiple years in the SEC. Like, this team, while they lost every single player on their roster from last year, added a lot of basketball players. And when you do so, there's the unknown mystery of like, okay, is this team all of a sudden going to be good? Because one thing that they do really well, Kevin, is that they have a lot of experience on their roster. They have a lot of upperclassmen, guys that have played multiple years of college basketball. And it shows with how much better this team has gotten in just over a 1-year sample size, because when they had the Keyshawn Halls, who maybe is the, probably the highest profile player on either one of these teams, when they had Mikey Williams, if you remember correctly, who was a former 5-star, a big name, right?
Yes.
Just didn't really do anything for UCF last year. It wasn't leading to winning. But when they brought in a bunch of guys with experience who are maybe undervalued, kind of similar to an Arizona football season from last year, honestly, it draws a lot of parallels of like, bring in the Nunu Watleys from UT Chattanooga, bring in the Tristan Bounds from Michigan, who just didn't really play there at all. Bring in the guys who are undervalued and that maybe, could carve out a role for themselves on a team with more playing time. And you're not necessarily going to be, diving into the NIL depths, Kevin, where you're like, trying to compete with the top universities for the top players. But you get that second crop. You say, hey, Riley Kugel, sounds like your market is not that crazy right now, right? Like, you're being undervalued. Well, we saved our money up for a guy like you to kind of reach out and be able to be competitive in a market for more of these secondary options. So I think UCF almost put together like a masterclass of how to rebuild a college basketball team in the span of one season, despite not necessarily having the most resources or having the name brand program. So credit to Johnny Dawkins for what he's done with this team. And I agree with you. I think that we're very well looking at the biggest challenge of the season thus far from Arizona's standpoint, at least that we've seen in the better part of, a month and a half, 2 months, probably since that Alabama game where it ended up being a blowout, but the first half was pretty dang close. I think that this is a big challenge for Arizona, especially on the road. And UCF is a team that needs to be taken very seriously, because I think that this is a tournament team, Kevin.
Hale Samuelson in the chat kind of read my mind. He says Stillwell is a great player too. And now that is the next man that I wanted to talk about. One, Jamichael Stillwell.
Pop this picture on screen.
Yeah,
Kevin.
if you look at his ESPN headshot, iced out, my brother. Crazy ice. I mean, can I be honest though, Damon? When I saw this, not to be that guy, but NIL's kind of gotten insane. We can't even do the headshot without the bust down. Like, this isn't like we can't do the headshot without 1,000 VVS diamonds. No, I mean Damon's doing it right now.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm damn near blinded.
I've been doing this the entire episode.
But now I'm looking at it, and now I'm blinded.
You didn't notice?
I'm blinded.
Yeah, go back about 15 seconds. I totally was wearing my chain out like this and didn't just change it because I was inspired by one Jamichael Stillwell. But yeah, that's crazy, man.
You can't even see the damn pendant.
He's got the damn timepiece out on the
Flavor Flav, holla at your boy. Man, anyway. But no, seriously, Jamichael, good jewelry taste,
should
but also
should have had a grill in. What was he thinking?
Literally, he missed out on an opportunity.
Like, he should have been like,
yes,
that would have been hard.
Yes, it would have.
Earrings, the whole nine.
I mean, that's what I'm saying though. Like, it's getting out of control. If you can do that, why can't you just show up full grills, full earring, full everything, just full glam, if you will, right? Anyway, he is incredible as a basketball player. not just as a jewelry customer. He is a great rebounder. Now, this man has 5 double-doubles this year, Damon, does to Michael Cambridge. He had 13 rebounds, 10 rebounds, 14 rebounds, 11 rebounds, 14 rebounds in his double-double performances. And he also pours in the buckets. The man averages 12.7 points. He put up 18 against K-State, 15 against Cincinnati, 11 in the loss to Oklahoma State, and all on pretty decent efficiency. Nothing like absolutely crazy. But I do think that this is a challenging player for Arizona to go up against, and it's likely going to be the Koa Peat matchup, I would assume. I would assume that JaMychal Stillwell, who has the 6'8 frame to match up with Peat in that sense, I'm assuming you throw him on Koa Peat in this one. So that's the matchup to watch for sure. Koa Peat versus JaMychal Stillwell. Who gets the better of that one? Give me Pete, but it's going to be a good matchup.
Yeah. We got Too Busy Winning here in the chat, bringing up that UCF is a long and more athletic than Arizona, and a veteran team with 4 players averaging double digits. Now, I don't know if I necessarily agree that they're more athletic than Arizona, but I will say that they do a lot of the things that Arizona does really well, Kevin. They when you think of Arizona and how they like to play ball and what they, what has gotten us to the spot of being the number 1 team in the country, it's length, it's athleticism, it's rebounding ability, second chance points, points in the paint, just dominating points in the paint, right? And these are all things that UCF is pretty darn good at. So this is a weird matchup in the way that maybe they don't necessarily yin and yang against Arizona, where you're feeling like, a team that forces turnovers and, can hit a lot of threes and is super scrappy is really probably the kryptonite for an Arizona squad if they're really nailing their threes on any given night. But it will be interesting to see how Arizona goes up against a team that likes to their plan of attack is a very similar blueprint. Does that give Arizona any problems? I think that's the best part about being in the Big 12, right? Is that you get these contrasting styles, you get these top teams that play in different ways, and you get to kind of measure yourself up against each one of these teams. But I think it'll be a fun measuring stick to go up against a UCF team that is incredibly legit. But I don't know if you noticed me laughing right there for a second, Kevin. And it was nothing to do with anything you said, because you don't make me laugh. You're not funny.
I'm not funny.
You're
bro.
not funny like that. But
only when I say serious stuff and you're like, this guy's an idiot.
Only when you come up with a pun that was actually entirely serious and was meant to be taken with the utmost of sincerity. And then I'm like, freaking, what is this guy talking about?
Yeah.
But I clicked on one Devan Cambridge's ESPN page.
So I'm sorry.
Brother, at what point is enough enough? You're in your 7th year of collegiate basketball? This is what NIL has done to us. This guy would have been playing in Europe 2 years ago, maximum, if it wasn't for NIL. Because he'd be like, man, I'm trying to make some money. I'm trying to live up my professional life. And now we got this guy who's, 25 years old? I mean, they won't even tell me what his date of birth is here on ESPN because they don't want me to know, Kevin. How old is Devan Cambridge?
Too damn old.
He's 24, and he turns 25 in 2 weeks from today. He's going to be 25 years old in the Big 12 tournament in March Madness. Brother, start that career. You want to talk about this meme, Kevin? Come on. No one needs 25-year-olds playing college basketball. Devan Cambridge is as old as frickin' Luka Doncic, probably. There's probably some wild guy that you could come up with that you're like, what?
Yeah.
They're the same age? 7 years of college basketball is one of the craziest things I've ever seen. When I clicked on it, I was assuming it was 6. I was like, I think he's played 6 years.
No, it's 7.
When I looked at that 7th year, I was just in utter shock.
Man.
It's baffling that you could play 7 years of college basketball. This is almost twice as long as a full 4-year basketball player's stat log would look like, Kevin. It's insane.
Max, resident comedian in the chat, says, Chad Baker Mazzara, Tyon Grant Foster. I'm convinced just having 2 last names grants you an additional year too. Tristan Bounds. Also got it granted an additional year. Yeah.
Tristan Bounds. I'm pretty sure you meant.
Koa Peat coming to an Arizona Wildcats podcast near you soon. But I will say this though, Damon, that the fact that Devan Cambridge is playing basketball still, I mentioned like I said out loud 7 years to myself earlier when I saw it, and Shane overheard me and knew who I was talking about because he knew our matchup and goes, "It was an injury red shirt," blah, 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 which is fair, but also like just objectively playing 7 years in college is unbelievable. If you're getting your bag, get your bag, Devan Cambridge. I'm not going to disparage that, but objectively unbelievable. The same way I said it's objectively unbelievable that I went to a Mexican restaurant out in Levine the other week and they didn't have chips, didn't even offer chips.
Not even for a charge?
Oh, brother, you and I will talk about this after the podcast. I got heated, not at the restaurant, not at the employee, but when we got home, me and my girlfriend.
Listen up, you bastard.
I was just yelling at nothing. I was like,
Kevin's
and what
grabbing the
type
waist.
of establishment doesn't offer chips, not even on the menu? And now I have to eat this torta, no chips. Anyway, that's a whole thing.
Tucson, Arizona could quite literally never.
No, they would never. In the city of gastronomy that is Tucson, you would never see such abhorrent behavior. But that's neither here nor there. UCF, more on them tomorrow for certain with our pregame podcast. As Sam Albert says, Devan Cambridge is like a year older than Cade Cunningham.
There it is.
Which, man, sad. But we'll have more on UCF tomorrow for our pregame show. Actual predictions. Andrew says Kevo going Bobby Hurley mode at the restaurant. And man,
Do your job.
Do your job.
Bring the damn chips and salsa next time.
The craziest part is, man, they had the whole selection of like fresh cut limes, grilled peppers, multiple different kinds of salsas, like that you would just go up and serve yourself after. I'm thinking, you just did all this thinking and didn't think about a damn chip not one time in the process of doing this. The food was good though, so
Sounds pretty good.
do with that what you will. But no chips is a character flaw, I will say.
It is.
But
where was this establishment, Kevin?
out in Levine, by where I'm at.
I meant what is the establishment?
Oh, I actually don't remember the exact name. It was something along the lines of like Uno y Tacos Iberia. Something like that. Uno's Tacos Iberia, probably actually more likely to be the name. Either way.
Sounds like such a Phoenix sounding Mexican food name.
Oh, yeah.
Uno. Uno dos tres Mexican food. Come on down to Scottsdale and have some of the best food you've ever had in your life.
It's like a blonde woman walks up to you and taps you on the shoulder and goes, "Have you heard of La Cantina? It's the new place downtown. They have beef tacos."
I forgot what it was called. I think it was like there was like some place in LA when I was like in like Beverly Hills area that was called like Sharky's Mexican food or Mexican cantina and
So you're
grill.
doing too much at that point.
And I was
Yeah.
like, probably sounds like some of the worst Mexican food I think you could have on planet Earth.
Sharky's Grill would have been fire. Sharky's Cantina would have been fire. Sharky's would have been fire. But Sharky's Grill, Cantina, Mexican food, restaurateur, entrepreneur, that's doing too much. That's doing too much.
It sounds like maybe that was an unfair label to put on the place, but it is like I do love taking track of the names of the restaurants up here because they do just strike me as a little ridiculous from time to time. But Kevin, that is what we had on UCF, except we do have some strengths and weaknesses to get into as well regarding the Knights.
We do indeed. What do they do well? They actually are an incredible... This kind of looks like Arizona. I'm not going to lie to you on this specific graphic. If I told you that UCF was 14th in the country in all of D1 in points in the paint, after all that, what would you have said? You would have said, man, no way. But that is true. Dawkins' group is indeed 14th in all of D1 in points in the paint per game. They are also one of the bigger teams in the country. As you look at their average height, they are 28th in average height in the country with 78.6 inches of average height. Now, the rebounding side of things, Damon, this UCF team, in terms of offensive rebounds per game, they're 33rd in the country. Defensive rebounds per game, they're 79th in the country. This team can get it done on the glass. And I think that is where you look at a matchup with Arizona and you think, this is a challenging one for Arizona. This team has size. This team has length. This team rebounds. This team scores in the paint. Hey, yeah, we have been doing a lot of cat references in the office recently, Sam. That I might have channeled and after all that from Karl Anthony Towns live on the pod. But Either way, you look at this, and after all that, you do get to the eventual sum of that this is a crazy, challenging game for Arizona, even when you consider these weaknesses for UCF. Forcing turnovers, which is good for Arizona, who has had trouble with frivolous turnovers at time. I wouldn't say the overall number is that troubling, but the time and circumstance of certain turnovers has not been ideal. 3-point volume, I feel like this is something that Johnny Dawkins has been talking about recently a little bit, wanting his team to pick their spots a little bit better, maybe shoot a little bit more. They're not the least efficient team in the country, as Damon and I outlined. Some of their primary guys are shooting 50% from three, right, on not awful volume. But I think as a team, kind of like Arizona, they don't shoot as many threes as some of their counterparts. And if you wanted like an actual ranking for that, they're 217th in three-point attempts per game with just 22. So do with that what you will. And then free throw rate as well. They are 265th in free throw attempt rate and also 174th in personal fouls drawn per game. So not only do they not get to the line a lot, they just don't attempt a lot of free throws, does UCF. So,
which is interesting given the points in the paint, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't really coincide all that well. And I wonder if that's a situation where maybe they're getting a little unlucky. Like if refs don't necessarily respect them at the level of the team that they probably are right now, because UCF's top 50 in KenPom, they look like a tournament team. Like they're playing damn good ball. They have 2 losses, 1 to undefeated Vanderbilt, or did Vanderbilt just lose their first game?
They sure did just lose their first game.
Vanderbilt just lost their first game. So a Vanderbilt opponent that is very respectable, and then they also lost to Oklahoma State on the road, and Oklahoma State has another team like UCF. I think those are the 2 teams in this conference that have completely flipped what they were doing last season to this season and have become actually pretty damn good basketball teams in the process. So 2 respectable losses for UCF. I wonder if maybe they're just not getting the respect that they deserve when it comes to the free throw rate stuff. But yeah, the main differentiator between what Arizona does and what UCF does is it feels like Arizona's getting a lot more calls when it comes to whistles and just the general foul calling here from that standpoint. But UCF, pretty darn good team. Strengths very similar to Arizona's strengths. Weaknesses maybe a little bit different. But yeah, it's going to be a really interesting matchup given what both these teams are good at.
I agree, Damon. Very well said. And now we shall move on to maybe one of the more fun segments we've ever done on this podcast. It has the potential to be just that. For more on UCF, definitely tune into our pregame show tomorrow. But we have
1:30.
1:30 tomorrow. Great catch there, Damon. The only Zach Bossy will be joining us after this next break on the AZ Wildcats podcast. Maybe talking a little Jedfish trash. Leave a like, stick around, don't go anywhere. I've said it once, I will say it again. The husband and wife law team is the only number to call if you've been involved in a serious injury or looking for wrongful death litigation. And that number is 602-783-8841. 602-783-8841. When you call that number, if you need to call that number, you will reach the husband and wife law team. Mark and Alexis Breyer, they have been out here in the Valley for so long, making people's lives better during the worst parts of those lives. Of course, nobody can guarantee victory in any sort of competition. The Arizona Wildcats, the husband and wife law team, just the same. You can't guarantee a dub. You have to go out there and get it done on the court or in the courtroom, right? And they can guarantee that you can cancel your fee agreement at any time for any reason. You will receive as much in your pocket as they receive for their fee, even if they have to reduce their attorney's fee to do so. They will always make time to meet with you directly, their client. If you've had a serious injury, call that number that I read out earlier, the one at the bottom left of your screen, or visit the website in our show links below.
Shout out to the husband and wife law team, Kevin. And of course, shout out to Window Depot for always trying to make contractors' lives easier. It is a great place to start your home renovation journey in 2026. They don't just have windows. They have doors. They have all sorts of equipment for different types of construction projects. There's a reason that contractors love the Window Depot. It does not require a membership like some of these other home renovation stores. You can just show up, get the best prices possible with the biggest inventory possible. And the Window Depot is the only place to take your home to the next level in 2026. From windows and doors to cabinets and countertops, we stock so much more so you spend less. No wait times, no gimmicks, just everyday low pricing and ready to go inventory. It is the only place to shop when you're trying to get on your home renovation journey in this new year. Whether it's you that's doing the project or maybe you're hiring out to someone else, it is the only place to shop for and get the lowest price possible on all the things that you need to fix up that house. So visit thewindow.depot.com and get started on your next project today. Stop by one of the Window Depot's 7 Arizona locations and see yourself why they're just way more than a window store, Kevin. Stop in and give the Window Depot a call. Their team will help you get exactly what you need. We're back here on the AZ Wildcats podcast, and we brought a very special guest onto the show. It is one Zach Bossy. He works behind the scenes here at PHNX Sports, just doing some of the more financial stuff for us. Keep making sure that the lights stay on.
Sales bossy, as they like to call me. I'll occasionally be in the chats here, just engaging, with the audience as I can, but also the show host. I like to keep them in check and make sure they're doing our partners proud. So just a massive shout out to our partners in general. Thank you. Coming off of that ad break was phenomenal. These guys just absolutely kill it on that end. So
yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, Zach.
Of course.
Always such an uplifter, one Zach Bossy around here. But Zach, interesting that you're on the show, the AZ Wildcats podcast, because you happen to be an Arizona State grad who's a Washington fan.
Yes.
That doesn't necessarily coincide with what our fan base has going on right now.
No. So if I could just take a moment back before I get a lot of hate in the comments. Let me just preface, massive friend of the program here. And I'd like to
These guys like me.
I'd like to think I garnered a little bit of respect just by constant conversations about ball. Very derailing throughout the day, I must say. Definitely gets in the way of productivity. But myself, Damon, and Kevin do love to just chat up anything surrounding our teams and how they've interacted over the last few years. Because while I might root for the 2 biggest enemies of U of A, I don't even think that's a subjective statement at this point. I can honestly say there's a massive amount of mutual respect. So please do not hurt me. I'm here as a friend just to talk. So.
Yeah. We brought Zach on because, and this has been a long time coming, but we wanted a Jedfish update. We wanted some Washington football updates because it's been nuts. It's been absolutely nuts in the world of UW football and in the world of Jedfish in particular. Damon Williams, who everybody on this podcast is familiar with, or Arizona Wildcat legend. All of a week and a half, he was on campus in Tucson. He then follows Jedfish to Washington. He's the quarterback of the Washington Huskies, and he's a pretty damn good one in the process. Maybe struggled a little bit against maybe the top competition this year, but he's still a very highly touted quarterback. There's a reason that he entered the portal. There's a reason that the LSU Tigers and Lane Kiffin were hitting his line behind closed doors saying, we want this guy on our team. And Damon Williams said, peace out, Washington, until Washington said, not so fast, my friend. What's been your evaluation of this entire thing, Zach?
Well, first of all, I just love that we're threatening our own players with lawsuits. I think that just sets such a good precedent about the state of the sport in general.
Team chemistry.
Yeah, team chemistry really builds it out. I mean, don't forget also Adam Muhammad hitting the portal, ending up at Cal.
You always want to lose your starting running back to the Cal Golden Bears.
Yes, especially coming off of a 9-win season. I really think that just speaks volumes about where we are. No, jokes aside, sarcasm aside, if I can just be honest as a fan of sports, and especially college sports growing up, I just think I find a lot of fatigue. I find that 2 years ago, the anniversary I think was about a week and a half ago actually, I got to watch my team play in a college football national championship. Unfortunately, we lost, but one of the coolest experiences of my life. Within a week, our head coach is gone. 21 of, I think, the 22 starters from that team are also gone. Since then, we have had, I actually charted it down here. Once again, I did a little bit of research in the 10 minutes prior to the show.
Love it.
Since then, we've had over 50 players transfer in, not even including undergrads. So, I think Damon may have counted as an undergrad. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
A high school recruit.
Yeah, I think he does.
And we've had at least 60 plus players transfer out. So on top of that, we also went from playing regionally based schedules with teams that, well and got to play against my entire childhood to now half of UW's wins this year, 9 of them, were against Purdue, Maryland, I believe we had a Rutgers win in there. Boise State was our bowl game.
Yep.
We beat UC Davis in non-conference, and I believe there even may have been a like Weber State or something mixed in there.
Gauntlet.
So,
Absolute gauntlet.
One, a gauntlet, and two, teams that I just know nothing about. Like I could not name a single player on any of those teams. So, I mean, the state of the fandom right now is I think we're on either our 4th or 5th head coach in the last 10 years, starting with Chris Peterson departing. Massive respect to him, by the way. He read the room and knew when to exit college football because he right away, people gave him a hard time. He was like, yeah, I don't really like how this is all trending. And like, I think it was 2019, I want to say it was maybe his last season, 2019. And he said, you know what, I'm gonna pull myself out here and just, hand the keys over to Jimmy Lake, which was a interesting endeavor to say the least. But it's been exhausting. It's exhausting to follow. I'm someone who's on Twitter every day, following with my team and just what's going on. But it's hard to keep up with. I watch games and I go, who is half of my players? Like, I don't even know who I'm looking at. I don't even know the names. So, I don't know. That's my overview.
Yeah, I think this is Jed Fish almost exemplifies the new age of college football. I feel like where he's the salesman, he's kind of the guy who's he's reaching out to every school that will listen. That's the other thing about this, right? Like Damon Williams, he gets lawsuits threatened at him, and eventually, obviously lawsuits that had enough weight and held enough weight where he's actually got to come back to school and be like, yeah, I can't leave. They won't let me. But meanwhile, Jed Fish is saying, "Hey, what's up, Michigan? Yeah. You ever heard what I got going on? Here's my resume." And they go, "Cool, we didn't ask for this, but we'll look at it, I guess." Like Jed Fish has like 1 foot out the door, but then he's not allowing his own players to do so.
It's the unfortunate part is that I think all of college football is I think Kenny has actually talked about in a really good way is it's problems that adults have created and we're blaming the kids for it, more or less, is how I feel in general. And again, the adults are not acting any better right now. It's turned into everyone wants their own and get your bread and do your thing. So everyone's just looking out for themselves. Like I can't pretend like I can blame these 18, 19-year-old kids. Say what you want about the Damon situation, like optically horrendous. I understand why the fan base is pissed off at him. But you can't tell me at 19 years old if your family members and people that you trust are telling you, "Hey, you can get $2 million more dollars." You don't have the foresight to think about, "Oh my goodness, what's the ramifications of this going to be?" You're telling me these people I look up to and these people that I trust with my life decisions are telling me this is the way to go. And so the unfortunate part is, aside from a small number of players, I just don't think anyone right now is coming out for the better with all of this. I don't think anyone is coming out in a happier place. I think the fans are catching the worst of it. I think you also have so many players getting bad advice. I think you can make all the jokes you want about Levitt and make the jokes you want about Damon or whoever, but these are even the highest sought after guys, and they're going through the ringer of visits, getting offers pulled, everything in between. But think about these guys, they're going in the portal who are told they're going to have a bunch of offers. They have an unlicensed agent, because in college you don't need to be licensed to be an NIL agent. In the pros you do.
Wild.
So I'd like to, for those of you that may or may not know, in the pros you do have to be a licensed NFL agent, and there are requirements for you to represent a player. In college, it is the frat guys down the street who just want to have a little extra weekend spending money. So they're telling this guy who they're in class with, like, "Hey, let me represent you."
Wow.
Well, don't sue me if that's directed, if that actually is true.
It's probably true in some cases.
But the sentiment being that, these kids are getting advice, "Hey, you can go transfer wherever you want. You're going to get some money. They're not taking good care of you. Go enter the portal." A lot of these players don't end up with the next, destination. We don't talk about that enough. We don't talk about these players that get completely lost to the void and you never hear from them again, right? They maybe would have been a rotational player their junior, senior, redshirt senior year if they would have stuck it out. But they didn't. They were told they could go seek something else out, and then their college career is over. They're not getting a free education anymore. There's not there's not money at the end of the rainbow that they were looking for. But what they lost in the process was a free college education. Now, and I know I'm going down rabbit holes.
Devan Cambridge disagrees, though. Devan Cambridge must have, I think, about 5 degrees at this point, Kevin?
Well, he's one of one.
You got 5 degrees, 5 leases.
Years of college ball.
7 years of college ball. You'd hope he could have learned something. I wonder if he attended a class along the way. But I digress on that one. But I think also like there's more nuance to when you spend years at a college, right? If you spend 4 or 5 years at a college, you connect with the boosters. You connect with the professors. These guys who end their sporting career, and most of them are not playing in the pros, even those that play overseas. Like that's not that sustainable. You need those connections and you need people to care about you. And I've talked to so many college athletes or people that are just inked in with it. And they go, yeah, when these guys show up for a year, they're not getting a job out of college because nobody knows them. No one's willing to go out on the line. When you have a 4-year starter, especially at these like SEC schools and stuff, someone who commits to that community, they're walking into whatever job from any of the boosters they want.
Yeah, set up for life.
We like the one thing that I will actually give Jed Fish credit for that he has capitalized more than any other UW coach, and we make jokes about. I send him tweets all the time. But it's the talking about all the companies that are in Microsoft, and it's the funniest
Starbucks.
Bit. It is the funniest bit, but there is actual substance there. If you have so many grads from these universities who care about the athletics and who care about these players, and I think that's just the things that these kids when they're jumping around, they just lack some of that foresight.
Yeah, and you joke about like. Or we joke as fans about like car salesmen, like a quarterback becoming a car salesman. Yeah. A lot of these boosters own those car sales places, right? And so like if you need like a managerial position at a low ranking thing where you can then 10, 20 years be like the guy there, whatever.
Job is a job, man. Like, and I think once again, like, we've created a place where there's just no rules, right? Like we've created a situation where there's no good advice. There's no one who really is looking out for anyone except for themselves. And unfortunately, it's leaving a lot of people in the dust, not even to talk about the fan experience of it, but just from a player's standpoint, whoever else, like we're really setting them up for failure. And then we're getting mad at them when they're making a decision that I cannot pretend like I wouldn't at 18 or 19,
Yeah. So. It's a situation where it's like, is the short-term money that you can bring in worth the long-term, benefits that you could receive by actually developing and becoming accustomed to the people out of school? But
100%.
You mentioned the agents, Zach, and I want to ask you a question because it was noted that Damon Williams' Wasserman agent was the same agent as Jed Fish, right? And then that agent left Damon Williams and decided to stop representing him after he entered the portal. Is there any sort of conclusion to that? Are they back? Are Damon and the agent, they're cool now? They're chill?
So from my understanding, I would just like to massively preface this is hearsay for any legal represention.
That's what we do on this show.
We just PHNX Wildcats on what's today? Friday, whatever. What's the
16th?
This is just speculation, pure speculation.
Allegedly.
Allegedly,
we did some allegedlys earlier in the podcast.
A lot of allegedlys earlier. This has been a heavy allegedly podcast.
Our new transfer, Dalen Austin, out of Oregon, if you're familiar or not, but you can look it up afterwards.
Yeah, no, I'm sure we'll get an argument about that one, especially because he's Oregon. He's going to be my biggest op ever. Anyways, allegedly, this dealing to get the LSU offer and everything went through the same. It was reported, I think, by some of the big college football reporters that this deal went through the same guy who did the tampering for Nico.
Yep.
To be honest with you, I have not heard anything about whether the agent and Damon have rekindled their relationship, but I highly doubt it. I think if there's ever a time that we are hearing about an agent and it isn't celebrating them for getting a deal done for a reason, they are completely pissed off because say what you want, and I've met some of them, they're amazing people, is that their entire brand is made around good PR and good representation of their clients. And if they are getting caught in any PR storm, they are going to be pissed. And I could confidently say that I think that guy probably will never interact with Damon again. That is just my opinion. Once again, we're all just speaking hypotheticals here. But I'd assume that relationship has not been rekindled. And once again, because we're muddying the waters in this weird way of that it's Jed Fish's representation, like, what is that relationship like now, right? If that guy wants to, stop by a UW practice to see Jed, like,
Is Amber there? That's my question. Is Amber there? Because
in Seattle? Absolutely
not. How do you look your quarterback in the eye when your wife is calling him disgusting on social media?
It's a messy spot for real.
I'm gonna just not comment on this one. I have so much to say. It's just, it's just one of those things where I just have come out of this entire thing just shaking my head and just going, man, what are we doing?
We were in the national championship
we
2
were
years ago.
I got to watch my team play in the national championship 2 years ago. And now I'm going on Instagram and watching, bless her heart, but Amber go on there and go on and just berate our starting quarterback who, first of all, I was pissed off a week before when they announced he is re-signed to stay at UW. I'm like, why are we doing this for college athletes? Like, this is college football and we're announcing re-signings. Are you serious?
But it was a week.
It was 5 days.
Yeah.
It was 5 days. So I already was pissed off.
Just kidding.
Yeah. I was already pissed off from that portion. And then this whole thing. Also, while I'm on a dinner date, I would like to mention this whole Damon thing goes on. So I'm trying to be attentive, but also
yeah.
Hey, sorry, give me 1 second. Third bathroom break in the last 10 minutes. It's crazy.
What's he doing in the bathroom?
Yeah, it was
can't be anything good.
Allergies. Probably expected the worst. I think me being on Twitter was probably.
Oh wait, I would if you kept going to the bathroom, I would expect way worse than checking Twitter updates.
Probably the best possible outcome was that I was looking at Twitter updates. But then we're sitting here and it's playing out. It's also, mind you, rest in peace to Mia, who was on the UW women's soccer team. That this all played out during her celebration of life.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about tradition and we talk about community at these universities. And I can confidently say that was maybe one of the most unifying moments around the tragedy of her losing her life at the age that she did after her battle with illness. And to have that moment completely undermined by all of the bad things that are happening in college football. I know I just took this to a very serious note, but it just, to me, I literally just, in that moment, I uninstalled Twitter for a few days and I just said, I can't even look at this. I had to just detach from it because it was just it was everything that's wrong with college athletics right now in the way it played out. I mean, there was videos of the football players at the celebration of life all looking at their phones and finding out the information as it's playing out.
Very short-sighted decision from the Damon Williams camp on that one. And I don't think they meant anything trying to be like that, doing that on purpose, but it seems like something that someone easily should have just been like, hey guys, let's maybe like take a beat and maybe announce it tomorrow or something. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I think we're also talking about his camp as if there's any amount of foresight taking place. Again, all of college sports right now is just knee-jerk reactions, right? Like, we've seen, how many players have we seen where like a crystal ball is put in and then it's like, oh, sorry, actually he's going here because at the last minute, some millionaire, alumni decided to throw a few extra in there. Like,
it's for forgiveness type of world.
Knee-jerk reactions.
It's the Wild West. Like if you could just do it. Like Damon Williams, he knew he signed whatever that re-signing contract was, but he was like, listen, every single player across the sport is winning their court case right now against the NCAA. Yeah. So whatever I sign doesn't matter. It holds no weight because the players are just winning every single battle. 100%. So it makes it really interesting, and there needs to be way more regulation in regards to the transfer portal aspect of things in general. But Zach, do you have anything else that you wanted to talk about, bring up on the show before we got out of here?
Yeah. How much time do we have? Am I on a stopwatch here?
No, you're not on a stopwatch. I was just that was the update that I wanted out of you, but I wanted to give you the opportunity to get some stuff off your chest.
My closing statements here really is just going to be, overall we're talking about the disappointment of being a college sports fan and being invested in it right now, but I think at the end of the day, really my main sentiment is that no matter who you root for in some ways, it just doesn't feel good. Let's talk about why you guys honestly have a disliking towards UW. It's because Jed Fish left you in the worst situation. And honestly, I'm happy for you guys that you retained some of the players you did. I know he pulled away a lot of players, but having Tet stay and Fafita stay was awesome.
T-Mac, T-Mac, Nalo, or Tetaroa, or McMillan. I don't know who this Tet imposter is that you're thinking
off
of.
The producer camera. This is my fault.
He controls everything.
Yeah, who turns off the producer camera but the producer? You know what, Zach? He's muted. It's over. Zach, segment's over. No, I'm kidding, Zach. You can speak again. You can speak again.
No, but I mean, like, I think just to go back and just run through, I'm sitting at the national championship, we lose. A few days later, DeBoer's out the door, right? And then immediately it's the coaching search of who are we going to get? So then we're looking all around the country and we take Fish. And it's like, all right, it's exciting, cool. He's going to, tactically it makes sense. Tactically, we needed to overhaul a roster that was barren with a lot of guys graduating. And, a guy who's a good recruiter and a okay play caller, right? Whatever. But in the back of my head, I'm going, this is no better than what Alabama just did to us. Now we're just going and taking advantage of another situation and, screwing someone else over.
Yeah.
And two, do I want to invest myself in Jedd Fisch if he's willing to jump ship right before you guys were going to go on your year? What I will say I'm eternally grateful for is I got to see my team, go to the Natty. That comment completely rattled me. But thank you, Max. That's an amazing comment. Completely threw me off. I got to work on my on-air composure.
This is pretty good in appearance one, though.
Yeah, it is.
Right?
Well, technically appearance two. He did therapy for our ASU show.
But he's a licensed therapist,
Yes,
so that was
that's a different profession.
Doing his day job.
Muscle
Doing his day
memory.
job.
But I'm thankful I got to see my team go to the Natty, where I will always have genuine just the feel bad for the U of A community is that you guys on the track you were on going to the Alamo Bowl. I honestly forget who you beat.
Oklahoma.
Going to the Alamo
Oklahoma.
Bowl. Yeah. Just not a real place. That place could fall off the map. No one would know. But you guys didn't get to see the next year come to fruition, right?
Yeah.
Like I got to see that. Our first year with Michael Penix, we went to the Alamo Bowl and we beat Texas. And I got to see that knowing, hey, we're going to turn this over to next year. We're going to retain a lot of our star players, and we're going to get to really run this out. You guys would have been a lock for – I know you've probably talked about it to Najim. You would have been a lock for the CFP the next year.
It felt pretty good, yeah.
Do you know how much it sucks, and just as objectively as a college football fan, that we didn't get to see that team transition the next year? So while I'm happy my team survived and got to have a roster and everything the next year, like – do I really feel better for it? No.
Yeah, it's not good for the sport.
It's not good for the sport. And then you have, you also have like, once again, with the Wild West, like, you have how Jedd departed, and then you have all these videos of the players walking in and out of the facility and, everyone trying to be skeptics on where guys are going to go. And it's just like, it's hard to care, right? Like the carryover of a multiple season buildup to a title run is what made college so cool. I was lucky. I got to see Rome play as a freshman. I got to see Jalen McMillan play as a freshman, right? Like you got to see these guys build their way up and come through the program and leave it better than they came to it.
Yeah, and transfers were for people like Michael Penix who battled injuries and now get to go to the next spot in their college career and kind of rebuild their image and become a first round pick out of it with those receivers around him and whatnot. And it just feels like that has like almost been lost as well, where now it's like, oh, where can I go and make the most money? Yeah. I'm Brendan Sorsby and I can go to Texas Tech because some oil billionaire is going to pay me everything. When it's like, Cincinnati got you there, brother. Yeah. You were dog crap at Indiana. Yeah. Then you went to Cincinnati and you became second team all Big 12 quarterback. Mm-hmm. No, FIDA first team.
Respect game. He's awesome. I got to see him in his first start, which was against UW.
Yeah.
If you go back and watch that game, there was like 18 NFL players on that field. Like,
crazy.
Go back and watch that 2023 game. The amount of talent that is just up and down those rosters was crazy. But to finish my point there is unfortunately, also, I don't think anyone comes out of it feeling better. I mean, Jedd Fisch jumped ship from you guys, and then all of a sudden, you're going and grabbing Brent Brennan, obviously your better program was at San Jose State he came from, I believe.
Yeah.
But, then San Jose State is left in this, like, it's a trickle-down effect, and it just turns into chaos. And, back to your point of just the transfer portal, and it works for some guys. I have no issue with the transfer portal, and I have no issue with NIL. The issue that I have is the combination of the two of them, is that you have unlimited movement with unlimited money. And I don't think either of them, on their own inherently is that harmful, because I think there could be some guardrails that keep it in line. I've always said players should have to wait until after their sophomore year to transfer and then after they graduate, and that can be their 2 windows. For NIL, we got to figure something else out. But also, if you're only able to offer these kids money out of high school, I think a lot of schools are going to be a lot more careful, right? You're not going to see Brendan Sorsby money going out to a 17, 18-year-old as much. But when they're able to watch these kids play for 3-4 years and go, yeah, that's an NFL player who we're just going to offer enough money to come back. I mean, Carson Beck, I think he's in his 7th year.
Sixth, I think. Yeah.
Sixth, but you saw everything. He's an NFL ready player, right? Like, let's not pretend like I don't think he's gonna be that good, but Miami wasn't taking a chance by giving him money. They knew exactly what they were getting, and that's why they were willing to shell it out. So
Yeah.
you know, I hope things turn in the right direction. You know, I just hope it's, you know, quickly, and I hope it's while people are still invested, because I'm someone who's always been a diehard sports fan and really been tuned into these teams. And I know that if I'm struggling and having a little bit of fan fatigue here, you know, the average person has to just be completely lost in what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I love, you know, Kevin and I, we all love college athletics as much as we love any athletics, right?
100%.
Like, you're as much of a Washington fan as you are of any team. We're as much Arizona fans more so than we are of any team.
Except to Oregon. Can I just put that caveat in there?
You hate Oregon.
Oregon, if I can have one dying wish, it's that Oregon never wins a national championship in my lifetime. And that's it. That's all. That is my biggest
That's
hate
fair,
watch.
Zach, because today on the PHNX D-backs show, I literally said I care more about the Dodgers not winning the World Series than I do about the D-backs winning the World Series at this point. And today, last night maybe, was the official proclamation of that. Like, it is 29 against 1 right now. As far as you're concerned, it's what? 162 against 1 when it comes to Oregon, or however many FBS teams there are.
I just, you know, unfortunately right now in college athletics, I think it's gotten more fun to hate watch the people that you don't want to win than it is to root for the people you do want. At least in my opinion, because I'm just pissed off at my teams. But you know, once again, let's keep our fingers crossed. Let's hope that things start turning in the right direction. Let's hope the NCAA gets, you know, some amount of control and the courts don't keep just knocking them out at the knees at every turn, because I think that's an underrated part of this, is that while they've been trying to create rules, the courts just swipe right under and knock everything out. So, you know, but let's stay invested. I hope the traditions continue. I think that's the most special thing about college sports, that compared to any American professional sport, is just, I've been lucky enough, especially in the 2023 season. I visited Tucson for that UW game. I went over to the Coliseum when UW played at USC, been to the Rose Bowl, you know, been down to Autzen and Oregon, a number of other places. And getting to see every college stadium is just awesome. The town, the traditions, what people do. Went to ASU and Colorado this year in Boulder. Just, you know, I was
Awesome
shadoring
place.
a little bit. I made sure that my my black, I believe it is a Citizen watch here,
Broken time,
graduation gift. But I was making sure to hit this a little bit, right? But it's the little fun and little jokes that we create in college sports that makes it so entertaining. So,
Absolutely. Well, Zach,
Wait,
great.
before we kick Zach off, I feel like I should do this with both of you on the screen, because Zach might appreciate this as well. I do have a surprise. I was up late last night, but for fun reasons. I was watching 28 Weeks Later, the Cillian Murphy movie about the zombies and the outbreak. They're recently doing more in that franchise as well. You don't have any idea where I'm going, but I was watching this movie and I'm doing this. Looking at Cillian Murphy, I'm thinking, okay, that's Cillian Murphy, right? But it stuck in my brain. I couldn't get it out of my head. Who does he look like?
Yep. I see it.
And I'm thinking to myself,
I don't think it's me. I think it's, hold on.
it has nothing to do with you, Zach.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking to myself, damn it, is that Ivan Karchenkov on my screen?
If that isn't
Oh,
Ivan Karchenkov.
Look at that. Look at that.
Yeah.
That is Ivan Karchenkov.
Wow.
Cillian Murphy, young Cillian Murphy is Ivan Karchenkov. And I just wanted to spring this on you, Damon, mostly because I'm now watching that movie, and for the whole hour 53, I'm thinking, man, Ivan Karchenkov's a badass fighting these zombies, dude. This is an awesome
dude.
This is an awesome retelling of Ivan Karchenkov's journey across the pond, right? He had to get through zombie-infested England to get over there. But yeah, that's all I had for you, Damon.
like
I just
he
had a
has
surprise there.
follow-up career in acting when it's all said and done. I mean, let's talk about NIL. Let's start reaching out to some movie studios.
He's gotta be like a
You're telling me
Schwarzenegger guy.
You're telling me that's not him?
He could be the stunt double if we want a taller stunt double.
True.
You know,
It's that jawline right there. I mean, that's really what's given Karchenkov.
The haircut as well.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
that's pretty impressive, Kevin. I would have thought the same damn thing if I was you.
Yeah.
Good little poll there at the end of the AZ Wildcats podcast. That's why you stick around all show on a Friday, an hour and 13 minutes through. Zach, we appreciate your time. You hopping on
course.
today, your first appearance on the AZ Wildcats podcast, on any PHNX sports podcast that was an actual podcast and not just a 24-hour stream.
Not just filling space to get Eric and Totri.
To be fair, it was the best portion of the entire 24-hour stream.
I had
in my opinion, I thought you were an absolute star in that performance. But Zach, you got the full experience today.
Yep.
Kevin, if you don't mind scrolling up, you're getting people talking about you in the comments. We got guys like Max saying, I haven't heard a word that Zach said. He's just fixated on that sweet stash. And then you have the other side of the coin of our friend Ghost here in the chat, who has accused you of saying, Lordy, dear Arizona fans, taking your girl to get a $5 Loco box at a Del Taco does not constitute a dinner date, but you're probably woefully underemployed, so I'll allow it. By the way, this is an ASU grad who is saying this, Zach, and he is saying that about another ASU grad here in Zach Bossy. So, Ghost, you played yourself, buddy.
Yeah.
You're calling the underemployed guy the guy who went to your university.
Yeah, we're already going through it as ASU fans. We really can't be at each other's, like, WP Carey School of Business. We got to stick together. I mean, how many running years of innovation have we championed? And, like,
Dynasty.
We can't undermine it by just going after each other and saying woefully unemployed. I will say, it was a lovely pizza place. Very dimly lit, was not the place that I should be when Damon Williams. I was ruined for the rest of the night. I was not focused, trying to ask like, oh, you like to travel, all that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just in the back of my head.
You're thinking, is Damon going to be traveling to Louisiana?
Exactly.
You ever been to Louisiana?
Just a complete, and I will be honest, she is a former college athlete. So then for the next half hour, I talked to her about NIL and the transfer portal.
You know what's crazy is just like, would you leave if you were in Damon Williams' shoes? Would you leave? Because I wouldn't personally.
No, and if I have to be honest, was it a conversation? I don't know. Was it me just was it me kind of just talking at her and I think venting a little bit? Yes. And I will say,
be a great recording.
It was very therapeutic, but I think everyone else in this dimly lit, really nice Italian restaurant with like $80 bottles of wine was like, what is this kid going on about?
What are they paying this kid, by the way?
Exactly, yeah.
That's going on about this NIL. Is he getting NIL? What's happening?
And again, just my emotions going through the ringer. I'm not even getting paid. I need to reach out to some people involved here and be like, if I'm going to go on and just spend half my day raging about this, at least throw me some commissions on it. So
my mom threw us some commissions. My mom got 2 super chats for the value of $30. It said Happy Friday from my grandfather and her, and then also fantastic show. I think she's saying that mostly because Zach Bossy.
Absolutely. We appreciate you, June, for your continued support of this podcast. As always, no one supports this podcast more than June Thomas and Tom Lemke, Kevin. I mean, and for good reason. Absolute special folks, family to not only Kevin, but I would argue everyone that is a part of the AZ Wildcats podcast. Me, the people of the chat, they're family.
Let's just say the people that build this community is what makes it special. We are nothing without the community. So thank you all. I know I'm not on air very often, but getting to just be a part of it here at PHNX and really see the love and the connection that's been built. It's something special. So unfortunately, I don't know when my next appearance is going to be or if there will be one, given personal circumstances. But
we'll work that out
at a later time.
I'll hit up your agent, and then maybe he'll fire you as being your. But we'll figure it. It's a whole thing. We'll figure it out.
Backdoor deals. It's gonna get real tricky.
Anything you want to promote, Zach? I mean, I know you're not the biggest Twitter guy. You deleted the app, obviously.
No, and I'll be honest, I try to stay away from social media as much as possible. It is a problem.
Very fair.
He'll drop a fire Instagram post every once in a while, though.
No doubt. Those dumps are crazy.
Went to private on that one, though. I just felt like I had to.
Sentence.
That was a little bit of a crazy sentence. I saw where you were going with that, but
I almost said the same sentence.
Photo dumps are crazy.
I only said that because I almost said the exact same thing of he'll drop a fire Instagram dump every once in a while.
That's why Zach kept going to the bathroom during that day.
Yeah, exactly.
Instagram dumpers.
Those dumps are just nuts.
It takes a lot of effort, I will say. My God. But I don't know. What is my message? Keep supporting us. Keep being a part of it. Keep engaging. Enjoy the weather. It's been beautiful outside recently. I don't know.
Dude, it's 30 in St. Louis. We got people on the East Coast, too. It's cold in some of these places.
Seattle a week ago is 35. I'm here at 70 degrees. I went for a walk. I had shorts and a t-shirt on. My friend's like, "Are you not cold?" I'm like, "No. What are we doing?" Yeah,
it is.
So go enjoy it. Get some UVs. It's going to be a beautiful weekend of football. My Seattle Seahawks are playing tomorrow, so please pray for me. My heart rate on my little Aura ring that I got going on right here, not going to be happy. Last time I watched a game, it asked me if I was okay. So,
and you got
have me in your thoughts.
One of your least favorite teams in the San Francisco 49ers coming
It's gonna put me into just a not great headspace. So you're probably gonna hear about it at some point. But thank you all for tuning in. Do I get to do the outro here?
Do it.
If you want to. Do you know all our ats and everything?
No, I have not.
No.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought. We appreciate Zach, though, for popping on. Good little discussion here. Maybe the only Zach Bossy appearance in the history of PHNX Sports.
Yep.
Could be something when it's all said and done. But you can, of course, follow me at Damon Dog. That's DAWG. Follow him, Mr. Kevin Thomas, at Kevo Post. And follow us at PHNX_Wildcats on all social except for TikTok, where we're at AZ Wildcats Pod. Become diehards. Join this Discord. Kevin and I are starting to ramp up our Discord messaging and our just overall presence in the Discord.
The diehards were the first people to see this last night.
Absolutely.
I threw that in there at 1 a.m.
That was a diehard exclusive brought to you by one Kevin Thomas. And we're going to keep trying to make that Discord just go up and up and up and up. So we appreciate everybody who's already in there. If you haven't joined yet, become a diehard. Get that free Redline t-shirt when you sign up. And it is well worth the price. So shout out everybody for being here. Shout out Zach. Shout out Kevin. Appreciate everybody for rocking with us all week long. We'll be back for pregame show tomorrow at 1:30, Arizona versus UCF. And then we'll do postgame 10 minutes after that final buzzer sounds. But until then, peace out, bear down.
And go Cats. Shout out to the boss for popping on the pod.
We all silly like the mayor.